There is something fundamentally wrong with our standard Malayali food plates. Shocking. But in today's video, we are going to try and explore why all of these plates might not be the most ideal food plates. All of these food plates are probably loaded with a lot of refined grains, which adds up to a lot of carbohydrate intake that we humans currently don't really require. Another most important point is that we are missing out on a very important nutrient that's probably the most focused nutrient of 21st century, and that's protein. So in today's video, we are going to explore how we can improve our protein intake, why we should improve our protein intake, and in very, very simple terms, how we can do that. These are all very familiar plates here, and probably as a Malayali, I've grown up eating most of it too. Let's decode and understand what these plates are. In our heads, these are all very normal Malayali food plates that is extremely common in all of our households. I speak with a lot of clients who have shifted and moved countries and now settled in US and UK, but still most of their food plates revolve around a lot of these plates. So we are very emotionally attached to most of these plates here. One is puttu. When we hear puttu, what naturally goes with it is param. Then there is chapati. Chapati, I think, is something that people have now shifted to with the objective of losing weight so that you don't eat a lot of it. So there's chapati and there is chicken curry. Then we have bread. I think the benefit with bread is it's easy, it's convenient, it's fast. It doesn't take a lot of effort like the other foods here. Then we have dosa, our all-time favorite dosa with chutney. And then we also have appam with some veg kurma. Now, if you look at all of these plates, the first thing that I said about the plate is the central grain. And all of these grains here are highly refined grains. You can even call it empty carbohydrates. So, all of these food plates give us a lot of carbohydrates, which in reality we don't really need considering our current calorie requirement. What's missing in all of these plates is also a very important nutrient. I mean, a lot of things are missing here, but the focus today is about a nutrient called protein. Now, if you look at put and param, there is zero protein in this. So, in today's video, I want to communicate the fact that most of these food plates that we think are normal might not be a very nutritively balanced food plates, and maybe let's discuss how we can improve that. So, the first question is, how much protein do I really need? A lot of people have very different values that they talk about, but a very accurate current studies talk about how the optimal requirement of protein is 2.2 grams per kg body weight. That means I am 64 kg and I need approximately 140 grams of protein every day. So the difference here with carbohydrate and protein is if I eat a lot of carbohydrates, my body will automatically store it because my body is worried if I will get the same amount of carbohydrates the next day. So it has this mechanism to store the carbohydrates in case we don't get enough. But that's not a similar mechanism for protein. Protein is something that our body has to take every day to be able to meet its requirement. So the natural first question is, why do we need so much of protein? Okay. Most often the term protein is talked about by either a fitness trainer or a person who is into health and wants to get their protein intake met. But other than that, a common man never really is very concerned about am I meeting my protein or not. But it's very important. Now let's look at some protein sources. As you can see, these are the most commonly talked about protein sources. But have you ever wondered how much protein all of these sources contain? Let's start with the egg. So this is a chicken egg. This egg contains approximately 5 to 6 grams of protein in it. Okay. Now this is 100 grams of chicken. 100 grams of chicken contains approximately 22 to 25 grams of protein. Now let's look at vegetarian sources of protein. The most commonly liked protein, especially for me, is paneer. 100 grams of paneer contains approximately 18 to 20 grams of protein in it. Next, we'll come to dal. 100 grams of dal contains approximately 20 grams of protein, which might seem like a lot, but unlike the other sources of protein that you see here, this 100 grams of dal will also give you almost 55 to 60 grams of carbohydrates. So this is not really considered a protein source, it's mostly a carbohydrate source. So from this, I think it gets pretty clear that we might not really be meeting our protein, even half the amount of protein intake that we need through the food plates that I showed before. I want you guys to take a moment and think before you sit down to eat about how you can enhance your protein intake in the food plate in front of you. Take for instance the puttan param. Why don't we remove the param, maybe bring in some chicken curry, or if you're a vegetarian, bring in some paneer curry, or mushroom curry, or kadala curry. It's anyway better than having the param. Why don't you also maybe add in 2 eggs along with it? So this establishes how majority of the standard Kerala diet lack a lot of protein and we barely meet our protein requirements. But why is protein so important? Why am I going on and on about how important it is to meet your protein requirement? The first most important benefit or requirement of protein is in your muscle building and development. Like we all know, protein is the raw material and building block for repair, rejuvenation, and it also helps build muscle. Now, where does muscles come in? Muscles are your metabolic organ, and majority of the metabolic diseases like diabetes, obesity, PCOD, blood pressure, dyslipidemia, heart related issues, all of these have a very strong association to the amount of muscles in your body. So this is where protein and muscles connect. Another very important point is also your cognitive health. Human species evolved in terms of cognitive health a lot when protein as a nutrient entered the system. So a lot of degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, etc. have a lot to do with protein deficiency. Couple of other benefits of protein without me having to say is hair health, nail health, skin health, being able to repair wounds. So fast wound healing is a important requirement. Immunity is an important aspect. Another very important thing is us having the energy to fuel and get through the day. So a lot of our fatigue, sluggishness, low mood, mood swings, depression can also be associated to protein deficiency. There was a client who came in with a very keen interest on being able to improve his protein intake. He was into fitness and all. And he gave us an example about how once, as part of his requirement to increase protein, he decided to eat almost 300 to 400 grams of chicken every day at a go to get this protein. In paper, this person is getting the protein, but it didn't really help this person, especially in terms of digestive health. This is where you need to understand that you can't eat all of your protein from the same source at one go. Your protein has to be distributed throughout the day, and one very crucial point is your protein intake has to come in through a wholesome plate of food where fiber is the most dominant nutrient. We all know the best sources of protein are obviously the non-vegetarian sources. That's the chicken, the meat, the fish, the poultry, the fermented milk products, the egg. Do keep in mind when you choose the kind of meat, go for the healthier sort of meat. I think we have done in Harmony, we have done a lot of videos talking about how to pick your meat and why it's important to understand all of that. Vegetarian sources, on the other hand, are not the most ideal and the most bioavailable sources of protein. We have paneer, we have fermented milk products if you do eat milk. Then there is soy-based products like soybean, soy milk. We have nuts and seeds. We have little protein coming in through coconut. There is mushrooms. So with all the plates that we just discussed, I want all of you to start thinking about how you can enhance protein in all of these plates. It can be puttu and param, but is there any way that you can enhance the protein? Maybe add 2 eggs into it or add some nuts and seeds into it. You're having dosha and chutney. Maybe get rid of the chutney and go for sambar. So think of small ways in which you can constantly enhance your protein, and ideally if you can go for 2 sources in a food plate, that would be great. Otherwise, a couple of very wholesome, balanced food plates that Harmony talks a lot about is one, egg pizza. Egg pizza is a recipe that just has pizza in the name but doesn't have any grain. It's mostly 3 eggs with a lot of vegetables and nut mix and coconut and all of that. An egg pizza recipe has approximately 28 to 32 grams of protein. There's also the smoothie recipe that we talk about. I think it's something that we have videos on, we have done lives about. A standard Harmony smoothie approximately has around 30 grams of protein as well. So keep in mind that every plate of food can have minimum 30 grams of protein, and that way you can maybe distribute your protein intake throughout the day. From my example of meeting with clients and going through their diets for the past 5-6 years, I've understood that almost 80 to 90% of us are protein deficient. In fact, we don't meet even 60% of the requirement. It is hard, but it is definitely worth it. Most often, with just through diet, it's very difficult to be able to meet optimal levels of protein. Now, this is where you can actually combine your dietary protein intake with good quality, safe, plant-based protein supplements and even animal-based protein supplements. But make sure to check with a professional based on your specific gut functions and your metabolic functions before purchasing a plant protein supplement. To conclude, make sure to be a little bit more aware of the amount of protein and the sources of protein that are present in the food plate in front of you. This can go a long way in terms of your longevity and metabolic health. Another most important point is, in the process of improving your protein intake, your food plate should never be overpowered with protein, and the most dominant nutrient on your food plate should always be fiber. That means leaves and vegetables and fruits and all of that.